one of us sitting here has never played a Street Fighter game in their life.
Fatality.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Wake Up 3. We are your hosts, Molly
And Cam. And we are a couple that have been into fighting games for quite some time now. We just love the genre. We are very passionate about fighters in general. And we want to continue to get better and grow and just geek out. So,
Wake Up 3, the podcast, is all about fighting games. So if you are a part of the fighting game community or you love fighters, this is the place for you. We are looking forward to bringing you a lot of content.
Yep. There are a ton of new fighters coming out right now, as I'm sure you guys know, in 2023. Street Fighter 6 launches tonight. MK1 launches in less than 4 months, and then we still don't know the release date for Tekken 8 yet, but I'm hoping it's by the end of this year. Otherwise, we'll see.
Maybe they'll feel a little bit of a push with that sudden MK1 announcement.
It was out of absolutely nowhere. After scouring the internet every single day for I don't even know how long, just looking for a scrap of news, they finally just dropped that full trailer with 8 characters in it?
Yeah, huge. Well, that's a bit of the new and the now. But we want to take you back to the beginning, to the 90s. Cam, you were just a young lad. What game did you first... What fighting game, I should say, did you first play?
The first fighting game I ever played was Mortal Kombat 2 on Super Nintendo. And the second, not too long after that, was Killer Instinct. And that was the one that really took a hold of me.
And what was it about Killer Instinct that had young Cam in its grasps as opposed to MK2?
Part of it was the characters in Killer Instinct I just thought looked so cool. They were unlike anything I had seen at the time. Cinder, the guy that's just straight up on fire all the time. And then Spinal, I thought it was probably the coolest thing I had ever seen as a kid, that you could just be a skeleton with a sword in a fighting game. So that was an immediate draw for me. And then another one that I always remembered from that game was certain stages you could uppercut your opponent off of the stage and just watch them fall down into the level below. And I always loved doing that whenever I played against my friends.
Playstyle? Troll. Well, while you were getting to play these amazing titles, I hear these now as an adult and I'm like, I long for that. Because I, on the other hand, did not grow up even knowing these things existed. I didn't have anyone around me that played any of these fighters. No one. Not a single person. Can you believe that?
It's pretty insane to me.
Yeah. Until I do have just the tiniest bit of exposure from the PS2 era to Virtua Fighter 4. And it was my brother's game. It was something he wanted and he got, and I would occasionally play it with him because I was the only person that would. And I would just get pummeled. I was just a punching bag. Yes. Training dummy. So I wasn't into it. I didn't get into it at the time. And it wasn't until I grew up and met Cam and what happened then?
Probably within 6 months or so of us really getting to know each other, I started introducing you to some of my retro collection, starting with Killer Instinct, I'm pretty sure.
I remember that one booting up for the first time. Very iconic. Very loud.
Yeah, that game's awesome.
What else did we... So we started with Killer Instinct. You showed me that.
Jeez.
You pulled that out of the old shoebox of games from your childhood. And I was like, whoa, you can fight as a dinosaur? From there, we kind of got on this retro fighter kick. So we would trek all over town to, the little used game shops. We would scour through all the stacks.
Yeah, stumbling upon games like Art of Fighting and Power Moves. From there, we ended up buying Mortal Kombat XL. And yeah, we waited a little bit until the full game was out. But that's besides the point. I think that was the first modern fighter that either one of us had played where we kind of realized, wow, there is a lot to this game.
Like, we really got committed at that point.
That was the first game that we really decided to just sink our teeth into and learn.
We've mentioned so many titles at this point. There are so many fighting games out there. How do you choose a favorite? What is your favorite?
My favorite is the Mortal Kombat franchise. It is, overall, I would say it's the series that I've sunk the most amount of hours into. I don't even have an estimate for how long. But, yeah, from the very beginning, I've always loved those games. And then learning 10 and then 11, even more so with you, has been a great experience. And I'm just looking forward to learning MK1, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6 if I can get you to play it.
That's the question that lingers in the air around here. They're gonna know.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
There's a reason for that, and it's that one of us sitting here has never played a Street Fighter game in their life. Getting into fighting games at a later time in life. Getting into fighting
Maybe
games...
sound like I'm ancient over here.
No, it isn't.
It's hard.
I don't know that you had the attachment that I did growing up, since you never saw any of the movies. You never really played any of those games growing up. How did you settle on a favorite fighter?
Going back to when we got MKX in 2016. Really, I would say that game is what really got me into fighting games. The retro games were fun and, more like a hobby. And then once I played MKX, it was like, okay, I want to get good at this game. And I never did, but I tried my best back in the day to learn Ermac the best I could. And I remember just being so overwhelmed with how much information there was to learn in this game. MKX specifically, big game for me, but yeah, Mortal Kombat is my favorite, so.
Well, if there's one character that's going to overwhelm you, it is going to be Ermac.
Ooh, you got me there. We need a little toasty sound effect.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Well, we thought this was all we were going to have for you guys, but as it turns out, there is something that came out very recently that we're just too excited to wait on. Do you want to fill them in on what that was?
Sure. The Brian Fury trailer was just released this weekend for Tekken 8, and I'm pretty excited about it. I couldn't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, so we got the trailer early, actually. It was meant to come out at Combo Breaker, but it was dropped early on the internet. In case you missed it. And the trailer itself, let's talk about that. Very exciting. One of the best so far, for sure, in my opinion, was I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I think as of right now, he's the character that I'm most looking forward to for sure. I thought the trailer was awesome. I think it's going to be, for me anyways, it's going to be hard to top that. I think right now I'm going in as Brian Fury, but we'll see, I guess, as more gets revealed.
Yeah, and he has watched this trailer several times since it has come out.
I've seen it probably 6 or more times in the 2 days it's been out.
Let's break down, the new Brian,
Sure.
what we saw. Let's start with the voice.
I think the voice, it was definitely different. I think it's really cool, though. I like the new laugh. Not to say that I didn't like the old laugh. I love the old laugh. And actually... From 7, yep, and 6. But recently, actually just earlier today, we both found out that Brian Fury had an even older laugh in Tekken 3, 4, and 5. And upon listening to that, we realized it was a lot deeper. which I thought was interesting because the new laugh for Tekken 8 sounds a little bit deeper. Not quite like the first one.
I wouldn't say deeper.
No? Okay, I don't know.
I think it's just more
We just thought that
natural. The new voice is less forced.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting to hear that different older voice that was
yeah, definitely.
really different to the Brian that we're used to in 7.
Yep. Moveset wise.
Fill me in on the moveset because you've played Brian a bit. So what did you see as far as the moveset went?
As far as his moveset goes, it looks like he's got all of his classic moves back again. Looks like you'll be able to link them a little bit differently than past games.
So not much change to the moveset, but maybe a little bit of new innovation to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think he looks fast. He looks fun. He looks pretty brutal, just as he's always been. And then I loved his rage art. What did you think about it?
I thought it was great as well. I thought that was probably the best one that we've seen of the rage arts.
I thought so too. I feel like that one had me like shouting and on the edge of my seat when I was watching it. And then the first time we watched it, I actually thought that the outro with the minigun, I thought that was just a continuation of his...
I did too.
I thought that was just part of his rage art, and I thought, man, this dude is brutal. He's going all in, like, using the minigun and everything, but that was just a really good transition. I thought that was super cool, the way it transitioned from the rage art to just blasting away with a minigun and then chucking it in your face. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, we were both caught off guard by that the first time, and we didn't really get it till we watched it again. Like, oh, that's just the outro. Got it. So yeah, what about his appearance? It has changed.
A little bit. To me, it looked like a combination of a couple of his past outfits. I thought it looked like the same kind of style and vibe of the outfit from Tekken 5, but it had the snake skin from 3 and a couple of the other past games. And I thought that was really cool. Yeah,
some references there to his past look.
Yeah, it looks familiar but different. It looks very cool. I think it looks really cool.
I think it looks cool. I think it's a good update, for sure. So yeah, that pretty much covers our as far as our breakdown goes of the trailer and our thoughts. And then Cam, you had gathered some thoughts from Twitter. So what have we got from as far as Brian Fury?
Well, first off, I wanted to start with the official Tekken page's description of him on the trailer. I thought that would be interesting, and I learned something on it. I think you might as well, so I wanted to read it to you firsthand and get your thoughts on it. Okay, so they said, a wild card for violence and destruction, Brian Fury, former cop turned psychotic cyborg, is unleashed in Tekken 8. I had no idea that he was a cop in the past. I don't know about you, but that really threw me off. I actually
just learned that, and it's funny because I was going to mention that earlier today to you, but it just never came to the surface of my brain.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah, that was the one part that threw me off. I didn't know he was ever a cop at any point. I always thought he was just kind of a nut job.
Yeah, it's fun to learn a little history there.
Yeah, definitely. 2 other tweets that I had. One of them, they're actually they're 2 different ends of the spectrum. One person seems to like what he looks like. The other person seems to dislike it. So the first one, by Twitter user Pink Cherry, says, breaking my silence. Brian looks the same. Underwhelming. Easily the lamest trailer of all. But nonetheless, he still looks cool in the new graphics, and that's all that matters. Happy that you all got your main back. Smiley face. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fair. He doesn't have to be for everybody, but that's really the only negative news or negative perception that I've seen of Brian. Everything else seems pretty positive so far. On the other end, Twitter user Bite Vermillion said, whoever decided to mix the classic T5 design with the Viper skin on the pants, as in T3 and 4, deserves a kiss. Great job, guys.
Yeah. Agree. Definitely an excellent choice.
Yeah, for sure.
All for that.
So, those are all of the tweets I wanted to share today.
All
And I
right.
think that just about wraps it up on the Brian Fury coverage.
Very
for now.
exciting.
Um,
What's your rating on the trailer, by the way?
on the
before we head
trailer
out?
rating, I would give it a 10 out of 10 personally.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm gonna go with a 7.
Okay.
Solid, because
I know you're not a
it was
Brian
great.
fan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not personally into him, but I thought it was a great trailer.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to be dropping our first full episode.
Woohoo!
Oh.
It will be all about Street Fighter 6, which comes out today, the day that this episode drops. We're talking to you Thursday morning, and it comes out tonight, Thursday night. So get playing that, and we will see you in a week to talk all about it.
At that point, I will have entered my very first offline tournament. It's for Street Fighter 6. It's 2 days after launch, and I'm very excited. I've wanted to compete for a while now, and I will let you guys know how that goes, for better or worse.
Yeah, exciting times, exciting things to come, and we will definitely fill you guys in on how that goes. My name's Molly, and you can find me on Twitter at Concut. That's KAHNKUT, or on PlayStation at That's Jan Michaels.
And this is Cam, and you can find me on Twitter and other social media platforms at Big Ruck Online, and you can find the two of us on our podcast at Wake Up 3 FGC on Twitter. Thanks for joining us today, and if you guys have any fighting game related content that you would like us to cover, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, we are always open to suggestions, and we would love to hear from you.
All right, this is Wake Up 3, signing off.
Bye!
Getting into fighting games later in life?
Isn't easy.
No, it isn't.